Yip Sim everyone, and welcome to the SimsAdore channel. A channel all about the Sims franchise, and I hope you guys are all doing well and are ready for a new speed build. Today we're going into an Asian inspired build with a hidden treasure cave. Pretty interesting. Now building this lot has taken over more than 5 hours on a 64 by 64 lot size, and like I earlier said, this build is inspired by all Asian architecture. And for now, I made it a temple, but you guys can change it into anything you like. I was earlier thinking about making it an Asian restaurant, so my Sims can go out for a nice dinner, for example. I first didn't really want to start with this build. It just looked too challenging for me, as you know, like certain things are just very limited on The Sims, and I couldn't first find the exact style of roofing that I really wanted, and well, I just did it with what I have. But then once I started with building the lot, I really got intrigued of what was possible and what we were able to do to make it look as most possible to that particular architecture. Now, first when I started, I was looking first for the objects that we have in the game and that I can use for this particular build. So now I start with making the temple, and as you know, this year it is the year of the pig. And the pig is the 12th of the 12-year cycle of animals, which appears in the Chinese zodiac. So we had this lovely statue, which you will find earlier, which I used throughout the whole building. So it's kind of a temple to worship the pig. I guess so. So now this year of the pig, 12th cycle, and to explain you a little bit how that's working, it is a Chinese zodiac, and the pig is a symbol of wealth in the Chinese culture, and those born in the year of the pig are usually considered to be realistic, not wasteful spenders, but they will enjoy life and they love entertainment and are a bit materialistic apparently. Now pigs work hard, and now each pig year instills different traits in those born that year. Now for example, if you're from 1971, pigs mind their own business, while 1995 pigs are known to be earnest and lovable. So this information you can all find on the internet, of course, and it's just very interesting because, for example, for me, I am a rooster and I am born in 1993, and it's the 10th of all zodiac animals. Now each year has its own element as well, and my element, for example, is water. And as I can say, that might be true because I am absolutely fascinated by water, because I love swimming first of all, which sounds very like a duh. I mean, okay. But the other thing about water is that, for example, for my job, I do work on a cruise line, if you didn't know that yet. So it really relates all to water, right? Now, for the water, I get as well the following description for this element, and that is that these roosters are proud but don't show off. They're intuitive and love beautiful things. They receive support and understanding from their leaders, and these roosters work well with others and will enjoy a happy retirement. Alright, well, good for me. Now, let's go back to the build because we're not really concentrating, I guess. But now I'm still working on the temple, and as you can see, I already added the lovely pig statues, and they look really cute. Like, even if you, because some objects, if you make them bigger, the texture really gets worse, while with this pig statue it didn't. And that's what I really appreciate about the makers of The Sims, that they kept those textures, even though that, because it's a really tiny statue, so you need to make it a little bigger. Now I started working on those roofings as well, and I really thought I was gonna struggle with that, but eventually when I kept building, I just realized, okay, well, it does work out. And then now I was working on the waterfall that I wanted right next to the temple. But what you see right now, I really deleted everything from that part, because just having those sprinklers getting into the other pond, it was just really hard. And the reason why I picked this one is because you can add kois to it, and kois are, well, if you think about like a Japanese garden, or, well, I think it's more Japanese, but there you will find coins, and there's these lovely fish. Now, I do have kois, or actually not, I don't, but my grandparents do have kois as well. And they're absolutely stunning animals. And they get really big, actually. So here I am working on this fountain, and it just really didn't work out for some reason. I'm like raising it, lowering it, but then of course I couldn't. So now it looks good, but once I like turn around, it just, the water doesn't fall into the pond. So I'm gonna take that away, because I really didn't like, I couldn't, like, here I was like still looking at it like, should I do it, should I not do it? I just couldn't figure it out. So like I keep doing it, and there I just took it away. I was like, maybe let's try this one, and then I said nope, let's just change it. And like I said in my other builds, like, I change my mind all the time. I mean, it takes a long time sometimes for me to take a builder. Like I said, it took me over, well, 5 to 6 hours to build this log. But I need to say, I really love that The Sims added this terrain tool, because it makes your houses look so much better, so you can work in different levels. And later on, when I start the landscaping, you will understand why I say this, because it's absolutely stunning. So now I'm working on the towers, and I'm really satisfied about those, because first I was like, maybe I will like it, maybe I don't, but they look very cool. I'm actually even going to add 2 more in the back of the building, and then build a wall around the temple. But it's really enjoyable. I really enjoyed making this build. I just really enjoyed to make buildings that I thought was going to be challenging. And I need to say, they are challenging. Oh yeah, this was a challenge. But that's what it makes a challenge, right? Because I can make like a regular small Lego house, or how will we, like, just a square, put some windows and then some doors in it. But this was just a really nice building. Now I'm using those golden, I would say, tips or for the roof. I removed those from, I just used them all the way on top. I didn't want to use them anymore for the for every single roof, because it just looked too busy. So still working on the landscape. I just feel that just the temple wasn't enough. So then I wanted to have a gazebo. So I started making the area for the gazebo, and I already created one on the side earlier just to test it out and to see what is the best way to make one. Because that's what I do most of the time. If I have an idea, I first want to try it on the side and then add it to the landscape, because it's really hard to, once you placed it, to take it back. And here again, I tried to make those waterfalls, and that worked out very well. So I was very satisfied about this one. Now, as you can see, when you put a pond, or like a little, I don't know, would you say pond? I think so. You see, like, when it's on a raised area, you will look through the land, like through the land. So you need to put some rocks around it, so you will not see that anymore, and it looks so much prettier. So there we are, we have the fountain, put some landscaping to it as well, and it's just really, this build was a little bit water around the gazebo. It made it so pretty. I love it. I really love this build. I'm such a big fan of it. And so some rocks, some shrubs in the water, lilies, and the frogs. I love the frogs as well. I put some frogs around. Like, if you have the build, try to count all the frogs and let know in the comment below how many you found, if you want to do a little search throughout the whole lot. So then of course I wanted to use bamboo. There is another sort of bamboo, this one, but it was just too tall for some reason. But then I figured it out. Once I finished with the landscaping, I added at the end because I feel like this plant is more used for like a fill up. I'm using sand, of course, a beautiful bonsai tree, and then I made this beautiful archway, like just to go to the gazebo. Okay, well, one is nice, but let me add a second side on the other side because I didn't like those fences. So let's just add those. And it made it so looking pretty. Like later on with all the landscape around it, it just makes it so much better. Now, the reason why I made this build as well is because I really want to go and visit a country in Asia. I don't know what, maybe China, maybe going to Japan, but just for the culture. And then of course I'm a huge Disney fan, and they have well, we have Disney Shanghai, we have Disney Hong Kong, Disney Tokyo. So I really want to visit them all as well. So of course when I'm visiting those countries, I might go as well to Disneyland, right? Who doesn't like a good trip to Disneyland? And so just the inspiration. So when I start building, a lot of people ask me like, what do you do, Bradley, in order to find inspiration to make those buildings? And what I do, first of all, before I start building, is finding a lot of pictures on Pinterest or on Google, and I just use those pictures as a reference to my buildings. Because of course, and definitely when you go to like more historical buildings such as this Asian architecture, you do need a reference because you can kind of like try to go by head and what you know. But it really helped me out, like thinking of like, okay, well, if this little area, so I made the temple, but then of course it felt really empty because it's a 64 by 64 lot. So in order, I need to really fill that place up. And so then I go look on Pinterest and see what, like for example with the Asian architecture, what do they do, what do they use. As eventually I figured out this gazebo, I added the gazebo, but I found this, well, which we go back later on to. I wanted to have this hidden treasure cave because that's what I found on Pinterest as well. There was like a cave and they had like hidden treasures in it. So I was like, okay, well, let's build a hidden treasure cave, which I'm going to work on very soon right now. So what I did is I raised the terrain, put a building in it, and then I'm going to start to make a rock formation around that building. So it kind of, well, it will look like a cave eventually. So we're gonna put the rocks around it, we size them up a little bit, and then to finish it up, we're going to use some shrubs so it looks very natural and like an old cave. And then I use those pig statues back again in front of this cave because to give an indication of like, hey, here is the hidden treasure. And it was just something different. I never really used a cellar. I never have something underground my house. So first time I'm making as well a treasure cave, and it's just really fun. It's just something extra that I never really found in any other building yet, personally, unless somebody was making a hidden treasure cave as well. But I really like that add-on here for this building. So the most important part of this building as well is the landscape, because that is what it's all about, Zen landscaping. So I use much more landscape than I usually do. And there we are, a second waterfall, because I felt so ready for a challenge. And so I add this to it and it looks so pretty. I'm such a fan. I really love this. Some shrubs around it. And once you download the build, now don't forget you can really you can get it from the gallery. First of all, I do have a different username because on my Origin account I just don't want to switch it out to a SimsAdore, because then I don't know, like I don't even know if I can add those games to that particular Origin account. But so what I did, you can find it under the hashtag SimsAdore, or you can just find me under BradyBread7. Now, if you don't know how to spell it or type it out, you can find everything in the description below, so do not hesitate to go and look in the gallery and download it into your game. Now keep in mind, it is a 64 by 64 lot, so you do need that size in your game, and I do not believe you have it with the regular game. So I think you need to get famous or get together. They have that big size of lot. You can try to maybe add it on a 50 by 50 and see if you can make a little bit of adjustments, because I think you can move it a little forward, but it will take away the fun, or you can even move it a little back. So just try it out. I haven't tried it yet. I did try to see if you were able to play it with your Sims, and the cave is working. They're able to go down and visit the hidden cave. They can go into the temple. I even made a little restroom for your Sims, because at the moment it's not really a residential. I would see it's more of a park or a museum. Now you can make those changes if you want to, because like I said, you can make a restaurant, or you can make even a more fun, just so many more options for a restaurant. You can make a little museum, you can even make like a little hotel, or just make a residential and have your lovely Sims living in it. I don't know if you can put it in, I don't know, like in the adventure pack. And maybe, let's see, maybe like there's like a lovely lot size there too. It will be a nice vacation home, that's for sure. So as you can see, I'm still working on the landscaping, use different kinds of trees. I was not really a fan of the pink trees, though I think it is a very it's part of the Asian architecture or landscaping, but I was really keen of those white trees, so I have been using those most of the time. And then later on the bamboo to fill up some empty spaces. And then I found these from Get Famous. It's like these, sort of like a torch, like a big huge torch, and they look so great. So once you go to the end of the movie, you will see the results of those, but it looks so historical. Like now it made the building look a little older, or like it's like very ancient, as we would say. Then I was using those lights and I didn't like those, it was too overwhelming, so I took those away, looked at the flags, and then I just used a little fountain with all the zen, you know. And oh yes, and these pebbles, of course, pebbles. That's what they use most of the time in their gardens as well. And then I love the little meditation area that I'm gonna make a little bit later into the back of the building, because of course we can start building from the front and make it really pretty, and then you guys download it, and then guess what? The back of the building is absolutely not pretty. So I even worked on the back of the building to make it look nice. And here we go, using the bamboo, and that's actually just to fill up the background. So I would never use it in front of the building to hide the building, because that's the thing, like when I'm making a landscape, I make sure that I make sure that there's no trees, or that the tree will not stand right in front of the building, and it will really make the architecture like go away. So you will see I most of the time use the trees on lower levels, or I put them next to the building so they're like not interfering with the style. And then I'm working on the lights, and that's the thing that I mostly forget to do, is looking if I added lights to the building on the outside area or inside area. So now, because of same thing with Pinterest, looking at pictures and seeing different kinds of style, or like looking at pictures and see the evening scenes where it's very fairy or very fairy tale like when in the dark. So that's why I started doing this lightning, and the lightning is absolutely stunning in the evening, which I added all pictures and videos at the end of this video, so definitely check it out. Working on the meditation area in the back, and that's really nice for your Sims to go and meditate and enjoy the view. Earlier I was looking at or taking pictures when they're meditating in the evening, and the beautiful stars in the sky made it very, it was so awesome. Some more lightning, and then I work more on the landscape in the back. Now I'm gonna let you enjoy the rest of the video. I'm working on this landscaping, and in just a few minutes you will see as well everything about the inside cave where your Sims can go on an adventure and find all the gold of the temple. I hope you enjoy it so far. I'll see you in a minute. we're almost about to finish our hidden treasure cave right now. Put some more skeletons to make it a little bit more creepy. And then we're going into the final results. Now take a look at the next following pictures. And I hope you enjoyed this Asian architecture build. Enjoy! Here it comes! I hope you enjoyed our newest video on SimsAdore, and if you did, don't forget to like our video and to subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. Arugada!